been gone for 20 years. You came back in half. What am I gonna fuck? That bone that's sticking out of your body?
Rick and Morty Season 8, Episode 4 continued the pattern of the show's post-credit scene by executing an apparently lighthearted joke. But it later delivered a fantastic new character, a heartbreaking death. The premise of The Last Temptation of Jerry revolved around the protagonist's attempts to figure out how to stop Jerry from turning into a sex-crazed Easter bunny, making it by far the strangest episode of Season 8. Despite its peculiar nature, the episode maintained Rick and Morty's new direction following Justin Roiland's departure, a journey marked by a variety of outcomes in the previous 2 seasons. Rick and Morty Season 8 has gotten positive reviews because of its decision to attempt new ideas and its devotion to devoted viewers, whereas Season 7 proved to be contentious. Even while The Last Temptation of Jerry wasn't the strongest performance of the series, it did introduce General Reinhard Kincaid, a notable new character. He was one of several Christian troopers who were introduced in the 4th episode of Season 8, and since he was instrumental in the story's resolution, it appeared that he would receive a happy ending. The post-credit scene, however, made it clear that was untrue. General Reinhard Kincaid's wife rejected him after a 20-year mission. General Reinhard Kincaid, a transformed man, knocked on his wife's door after completing his mission successfully and eventually making it home, only to be turned away. Reinhard was on a mission with his fellow Christian soldiers to destroy the Easter Bunny since the rabbit spirit was forcing people to have sex. The Christ troopers were committed to preventing the powerful spirit because they just thought sex was disgusting, whereas Rick and Morty's primary motivation for trying to stop the bunny was because it was effectively dominating Jerry. Kincaid survived and defeated the rabbit at the end of the episode, despite the fact that the bunny had killed the majority of the troopers and severed the lower half of his body. He then went back to his house and confronted his wife, saying he no longer thought sex was disgusting and that he wanted to make love to her. Regretfully, Reinhard faced total rejection, and his wife was unhappy that he had been absent for 20 years. She also pointed out that he was missing half of his body, which prevented him from experiencing this close-knit devotion. "Drag yourself somewhere else," was the last thing his wife said to Reinhard before slamming the door and leaving him alone. In contrast to the much lighter post-credit scene in Rick and Morty Season 8, Episode 3, the sequence, even though it was put off as a jest, was a far more devastating ending. It was truly heartbreaking to watch Reinhardt's narrative come to an end this way after everything he had gone through, especially since he was an intriguing new character and possibly the episode's MVP. Reinhardt deserved a better ending after saving the day in The Last Temptation of Jerry. The Last Temptation of Jerry may have ended quite differently if Reinhardt hadn't arrived and captured the bunny's essence, implying that he merited a far better conclusion. Even though Reinhardt never appeared to be in much physical pain, it is still rather amazing that he was able to use half of his body to go to Rick and Morty's primary dimension. He is undoubtedly one of the most fierce characters on the show, as evidenced by his ability to stop the bunny, return to house, and survive the entire incident. Additionally, he has morals and spared the main characters when he could have easily killed them, a luxury that Rick and Morty most likely wouldn't have given him. Reinhardt also deserves more because of his and altruistic personality, which make him one of the best cast members of Rick and Morty Season 8. Even though it deviated from the typical comic tone of the show's post-credit scenes, this climax would have been well-earned, and settling down with his wife and finding peace would have been a far more wholesome finale. Despite making so many sacrifices, he was instead abandoned to suffer alone, which put a tragic end to his adventure. It would be fantastic to see Reinhardt achieve happiness in subsequent episodes, which he so richly deserves following his part in The Last Temptation of Jerry, even though I would be surprised to see him return in Rick and Morty Season 8.